There was an article by the Daily Maverick, an article about Eskom trying to stop the residents of a municipality. The municipality is called Mafube, and it's in the Free State. This municipality basically is using alternative energy to avoid power cuts. In Mafube, in this municipality, they have this really large installation of solar power, and even their grid, their local network is managed by a company called RFS. So the municipality has given over the operation of the network to this private company, and combined with this large installation, this large solar installation, they have managed to reduce load shedding significantly. And so Eskom is not happy with this, and in fact there is a court case going on between Eskom and this company RFS, and it seems like also the municipality as well. And basically Eskom wants to shut down this entire operation and not allow them to do this voiding. Again, voiding is using alternative energy to supply the energy deficits. Obviously not all the time, but to a great deal. They've managed to significantly reduce load shedding. It's a bit crazy that, Eskom is in a situation where the generation capacity is not enough. Several of Eskom's power stations or units at power stations have gone down, either for maintenance or there's been issues. And instead of working with this municipality, or rather this private company, instead of working with them and accepting this additional power, this additional generation capacity that's on the grid, instead of working with them, Eskom is fighting with them and trying to shut them down. And the reasons that they're providing are quite nonsensical. And the solutions also to some of the questions that Eskom has are actually quite simple. Eskom's main argument is that, that with this municipality doing this, with them voiding, with them supplying the lack of generation capacity with alternative energy, they are saying that this municipality is setting a precedent. And if more and more municipalities do this, the grid would become more and more unmanageable. And this would then also lead to, Eskom says, it will also lead to national blackout, getting to the point where the entire country just shuts down, and then also takes, it would take a couple of weeks to start the country back up. It would take a couple of weeks to get everything started back up. And so Eskom is saying that RFS doing this, Mufube, the municipality doing this, is putting the country at risk of a national blackout if more and more municipalities do the same thing. And again, it's really crazy. If more municipalities follow suit, what would happen is there would be more generation capacity online, and this would ease our power constraints. So more generation would actually help the power system rather than be a threat to it. And again, why it doesn't make sense that Eskom would be stopping new generation capacity from coming online. It's really crazy, and you want us to wonder what do they think is the alternative? Is the alternative that we should wait another 15 years for another Medupi or Kusile? It's just crazy. And when it comes to a national blackout, there are so many measures in place already, or measures that could be put in place to prevent a national blackout. Firstly, this municipality could be isolated from the main grid. You could have a situation where when they are being load shed, they can be isolated from the grid, such that in that time when they're being load shed, they can have their municipality being supplied by their large solar installation and supply all their electricity needs. And then when the sun goes down and they don't have that capacity anymore, they could then be isolated. And if they're isolated, there wouldn't be a situation where there's this big surge in demand that it affects the entire power system. So isolation is the first step. And Eskom can isolate this municipality. It could isolate every other municipality that decides to do the same thing, such that when there is this surge or when there is an increase in demand again due to the sun perhaps going down, they're isolated, and then they would then have to self-load shed. Then there's also the possibility of automatic load shedding. Eskom already has this solution in place. Eskom already has this measure in place whereby if the demand surges, in the entire country, if the demand surges or rises up very quickly, there are places, there are areas, there are customers that Eskom automatically would load shed such that a national blackout is prevented. And so this automatic load shedding could even be implemented at a municipality level. New generation is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, and Eskom should not fight this. What Eskom has been incapable of doing, IPPs have been capable of doing, and Eskom should just take a step back, allow them to do their thing, and focus on building the infrastructure that's needed to manage the addition of renewable energy. Eskom should focus on becoming a transmission system operator, and that would help. It would really help us all.